So that was the weekend. That was the trip. It was great, no matter what. But there was something that we have to talk about, and I wanted to talk about this if I had streamed last week, but I didn't. And that is what happened at a Pokemon Center here. This is why. I said this before when we talked about all the different crimes and things like that that happen in Japan that you guys really won't hear a lot about outside of Japan. And even when it happens here, not everyone finds out about it. And the reason why is because, well, even if it gets broadcast on the news, very short, especially something this heinous. Even more so, the articles that get put out online and things like that, they get dumbed down drastically. The article that I just pulled up right now to show you all, it's not the full article that was originally there or that I can pull up on the phone that I'm like, that is the camera right now. If I pull it up on there, I can find a completely different and full article versus the one we're about to look at right now. Listen, this is really it's sad. It's extremely sad, and it just shows just how fucked up some people's minds are, and just the extremes that people will go when it comes to here in Japan with crime. Like it's crazy. All right, let's check this out. Let's get switched up. There we go. All right, so man fatally stabs female clerk. I hope you guys can see this. Let's see. Ooh, I hate that it's not. What is wrong? This PC is stupid. Okay, so it looks like you guys can't see it. All right, yeah, yeah. Let's get back into it. I know. Man fatally stabs female clerk at Pokemon store in Tokyo. Now, this happened on the 26th. I remember the day that it happened. And what's crazy about that, this is 5 days after my birthday. I was out going shopping and different stuff like that. And I was actually supposed to be going to that area, which is Ikebukuro. A man fatally stabbed a woman working at a Pokemon store in Tokyo's Ikebukuro district on Thursday evening before dying from self-inflicted wounds, according to the police. The attacker was identified as Taiki Hirokawa, 26, occupation and residence unknown. They know, they're just not saying. And the victim, the victim as 21-year-old part-time worker Moe Harukawa of Hachioji, Tokyo. The two knew each other, and Harukawa had previously consulted the police about being stalked by Hirokawa, an investigative source said. Now, from my understanding, they didn't just know each other, they dated. They had dated before. Now, both the attacker and the victim were confirmed dead after being transported to a hospital unconscious, according to the police. Listen, I don't give a damn what they say right here. That young woman, she was dead long before she was transported to the hospital. I don't know how deep this is going to go into it, but I'm going to tell you exactly what I know about it. Security footage of the incident, which occurred at around 7:15 p.m. at Pokemon Center Mega Tokyo within the Sunshine City commercial building, showed the man entering the store and proceeding to stab the woman in the neck at her store counter. Now, I need you guys to understand something. Sunshine City's big building and the Pokemon Center, the Mega Tokyo Pokemon Center, this sumbitch takes up the entire floor of Sunshine City. This goes into the reason why I didn't go to the Pokemon Center while in Osaka, because I said that was one of the things I was going to do. I'll get into that in a second. The Pokemon Center we have in Osaka, it's inside of Skytree, and it doesn't take up nearly the amount of space that this Mega Tokyo Center does. The attacker also stabbed himself in the neck at the counter, the police said, adding that a bloody weapon was found nearby, covered in a cloth, but with its blade visible. How disgusting of a piece of shit are you that you went and stabbed this young woman? You're both in your 20s, like the prime of your fucking life. She's just 21. You're 26. Stabbing someone is one of the most intimate and gruesome ways to actually kill someone. Now, granted, here stabbing deaths happen more because guns are illegal. But think about the fact that, and it doesn't say it here, think about the fact that he didn't just stab her in the neck. He stabbed her 14 fucking times. See, that's what I mean about this article not being the full article. This was a completely different article the day after it happened. Everything else, when they put it out on the Japanese sites and things like that, you search something in Japanese Google, or if you're using a specific fucking type of Wi-Fi or internet access, whatever, they actually give you dumbed down versions of these things. I need you all to understand something else too. This didn't just happen in a vacuum. He stabbed this girl 14 times in front of every fucking person there. The store was full. There were children there. This is one of the problems here. The mental instability of motherfuckers, the stalking issues and things like that. Let's finish this off. The store sells goods related. It goes into some shit like this. The store sells goods related to the globally popular Japanese media franchise Pokemon, short for Pocket Monsters. This is unnecessary. We all know this. The commercial complex is about 700 meters, yada yada. I'm shocked at something like this happening where many families visited, said a man in his 30s who witnessed police and security guards running within the facility. This so fucking blows my mind as to how dumbed down this article is, because they don't want to really like spark this fear amongst like all the people of Japan, because this is part of that lie that I was talking about a few moments ago, where everything is dumbed down in order to save face as a country, as a society. Mental issues is a real problem. They are very prominent. People who commit these types of acts have a fucking problem. Stalking is a problem. This job for this 21-year-old girl, this was her fucking dream job. This is what she wanted to do. And this isn't hyperbole. This isn't me just saying this just to say it. No, her friends and coworkers who talked about this all said it. This was the job that she fought to get because of her love for it. And this dude went in and took her life in this way. The police told her when she actually went, prior to these things happening, when she filed a incident report of stalking, they of course gave a what do they call that, restraining order, but they told her, they go, you might need to change your job because there's only so much we can do, of course. And I understand where you might give that that sort of, you know, like you might, that might be your opinion as an officer, because yeah, you can't be everywhere all the time, 24/7. Doesn't work that way. But she didn't want to change her job. She wanted this to be known, someone to bring him in, question him, deal with the situation. She shouldn't have had to change her job. a job that she loved, something that she really, really, really fought to get, something she wanted to do. But he went in, took her life in front of every person there, children, foreigners, people who were traveling here, and then takes the bitch made pussy ass way out in order to absolve himself, I guess, of all consequences. Like, this is disgusting to me. Let's see. Does this one have anything more? The knife wielder. This one might go a little bit more into it. Okay, so the knife wielder killer of a clerk at a Pokemon Center in Tokyo was a former boyfriend who had been repeatedly arrested too, including for stalking in the months before the attack. There's their names again. The attack occurred March 26th, Tokyo Store, Sunshine City. December 25th, Harukawa reported to the Hochioji police station that she was being stalked by Hirokawa. After police officers took her statement, they escorted Harukawa to her home in Hichioji, where she lived with her family. On the same day, police arrested Hirokawa on suspicion of violating the anti-stalking law by watching the home. I think it was outside watching. Whoa! He was arrested on January 15th this year on suspicion of secretly taking photos of Harukawa with a smartphone in August of 2025. So he just kept piling on and piling on. Furthermore, he was charged with violating the guns and sword. Oh, I was about to say, wait, the guns and swords possession control law for possessing a fruit knife with a blade a length of about 10 centimeters inside of a rental car at the time of his initial arrest. Nah, see, at this point, you now know this dude's a danger. You now know he is a fucking danger. He's a menace to society at this point, based on the number of times she's gone and spoken to them, based on the number of times you've had to arrest him, bring him in for questioning. There needs to be a little bit something more done here, because let's be realistic about it. Stalking is a fucking mental issue. He reportedly admitted to his stalking behavior and explained to the police that he wanted to get back together with Harukawa. I want to yell right now. I'm holding in a really loud fucking yell right now. What the fuck are we talking about? He reportedly admitted to his stalking behavior and explained to the police that he wanted to get back together with Harukawa. Nigga, this is not how shit works. It's just not. What are we doing? The suspect was summarily indicted on the three charges and released on January 30th. At the police station's recommendation, Harukawa stayed at a relative's home outside of Tokyo from January 5th to February 6th. So she had to leave her home and go and stay at another family member's home to even feel safe in this situation. We believe we took the best possible measures available, the chief of the MPD's Personal Safety Measures Division said. No, you didn't, because there's so much more that they could actually do in these situations. And I get it. Maybe you can't lock a motherfucker up for stalking for a long term or whatever, but you got to understand something. Rules, regulations, and guidelines are completely different here in Japan than they are in the States. The fact is, they just don't take it fucking serious enough. See, they wanted to save face, not only by putting out dumbed down articles, putting out dumbed down media on the television, saying they don't know what his job is or where he lived. Bull fucking shit. Because if anything, you could actually have sanctioned him through work. Oh, that'll make a motherfucker act right real quick. You could have actually kept his ass in jail for a much longer time, considering he was picked up on multiple occasions, admitted to the situation, and then gave such a bullshit statement as, I wanted to get back with her. You know there's a mental problem there. Fucking put his ass in a mental institution. Oh, wait. Japan doesn't really have those because they don't take mental issues seriously. Oh, that's right. It's a save face issue. Something needs to be fucking corrected. Something needs to change. And I mean, tell me if I'm wrong about this, chat, but I feel some kind of way about this shit. For real. Let's be real about it. Tell me I'm wrong on this. Hey, what's good? What is Zahir Zahir Mikkel? Nice name. Interesting name. What's good with you? I've always heard the justice system in Japan completely sucks. Okay, you know what? Let's get into that. Let's get into that. All right, here's the crazy thing. Would you agree or just different from the States? Okay, it's just different from the States. Here's the thing. The justice system in Japan does and doesn't suck. Here's why. How it sucks. Japan has I mean, at one point it was 95, 96%. Now it's more like 98 fucking percent conviction rate. Let me explain to you what a 98% conviction rate entails, though. That entails you being in a police station in interrogation for hours, and I mean hours. They could sit you there for 12 to 16 hours repeatedly asking you questions over and over and over again, and you can give the same answer thousands of times. But hey, go ahead, get some sleep, because we're going to wake that ass up tomorrow and we're going to do it all over again. And this can go on for days at a time. Depending on the crime, depends on how long they will, put you in this position. And depending on, and I hate to say this, but this is a truth, this is a fact, this is a reality, depending on what you look like and where you came from or why you're here. The problem with such a high conviction rate, the problem with these types of tactics of interrogation and things like that, is that people will say anything to get the hell out of the hot seat. And that's just a fact. They started finding this out more recently than not. They want you to say you guilty no matter. Exactly. Because here's something I'm going to tell you about the Japanese system. And this doesn't just go with the legal system. This goes with a lot of things here when it comes to businesses, when it comes to individuals, which is the reason why what I was just telling you all about that girl, she did not want to be wrong in what she was saying or what her beliefs are. She didn't want the fact of her ignorance to be pointed out to her. And that's the thing about it here. They can't be wrong. Because if they're wrong, oh shit, I shamed every fucking body. Nigga, you made a mistake. I told you guys about the situation where the guy who got the traffic ticket, he got a traffic ticket and he fought it because he was like, I shouldn't rightfully have this traffic ticket. And it took him nearly a year, as well as a huge influencer, to go online, constant calls to the Tokyo police station and then to other police stations throughout Japan. All of them said the same thing, except for the Tokyo police station that gave him the ticket that he got. They said he was in the wrong. He should have let the pedestrian pass no matter, even if the pedestrian told him he could, go ahead and drive, because they were an older individual crossing the walkway. The officer knew he was wrong. The precinct knew he was fucking wrong. But they refused to pardon that man, let it go, not make him pay the ticket, everything else. And it took nearly a year, and everyone, and I mean even like citizens, actually coming together being like, y'all are wrong. You need to rectify this for it to get rectified, because the Japanese people cannot admit when they're wrong. That's just how it is. All right. Now, the other part of that is this. There are some good points to the justice system, in the effect that a lot of times they won't just slander you outright for no fucking reason. Especially on like, lesser charges and things like that. They won't do that. And there's a certain way that they kind of try and circumvent embarrassing you when you are questioned about things. And again, that also depends on where you are in Japan too, because some some of them it's just a nasty situation. But where it gets grimy is when you look at like the caste system still does play a role here. People don't understand this. The caste system still plays a role here. Depending on how far up you are in society or considered to be in society, oh no. Oh no. Hey, you know what? Yeah, we understand that this happened. Can you help us out here? Listen, man. This is how you can come off if you are one of those upper echelon type caste system people. And it's way worse in South Korea. Way fucking worse. Look, man, go fuck yourself. Find something and talk to my lawyer because you know what? I got a flight to catch and I don't feel like dealing with your bullshit. Sir, you just committed fucking murder. But because they're up here, it's like they gonna walk out the door that day. They gonna walk out the door. So it's a messy situation. But there are the good points to it is that when a motherfucker does do something, oh, they're done. There's none of that US bullshit where it's like, reasonable doubt, this, that, and the other. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. No, nigga. Your ass is done. But because of that mentality, a lot of like smaller crimes or things that people had no involvement in or so on and so forth, they get wrapped up in a system that's just absolutely ass about understanding that there is a such thing as being 100% innocent. And even if they find out that you're innocent on certain things, they'll try and tap you with some smaller shit just to do it. And the prison system here is foul, absolutely foul. But we won't even get get into that. Getting arrested in Japan as a foreigner must be the absolute worst. Oh my goodness. Even if it's a harmless crime, yes, it is. What's crazy, the first, one of the first, not, yeah, one of the first IRLs I think I did in my city was at a bar, and I told you guys about the guy who paid his way out of going to jail that night. Now, me personally, I agree with with him getting away with this. He was out with his girl in the area where everybody's out drinking, eating, everything else, and some dude went up and grabbed his girl's ass. What did he do? He turned around and crashed out. I think rightfully so. The cops were right there, though. So, of course, they jump into the situation. They're about to lock him up because he put hands on a motherfucker. And here, you can't do that. You put hands on the motherfucker, you definitely going to jail for the night. But the catch to it is where I'd have been like, all right, go ahead. Take me to jail for the night. I'll be out in the morning. It's all gravy, baby. I don't have to deal with what he has to deal with. And what he had to deal with is that if he went to jail, his job was finding out about it. And they were going to fuck him over if they found out about it, because that's how it works when you do certain things and it gets to your work. Oh, you probably getting fired because you broke terms of the contract that you're in. Then your family finds out, and now you're the fucking black sheep of the family, only 10 times worse. Like, all this shit piles up on it. But in that case, the dude literally, listen, hey, what's it gonna take? He broke off some bread, and they were like, listen, don't let that happen again. I was like, listen, I'm mad at nobody in that situation. Because I should be, because, that's some crooked shit from the cops. But he didn't deserve to fucking go to jail, lose his job, and everything else for protecting his girl. I mean, that is a catch-22 ass type situation to be in. It really is when you look at it. But I mean, everything from the right and logical standpoint screams that his ass should have went to jail for that night. his job probably would have let him go because, and if I remember correctly, the type of job he worked, I don't think that he really would have gotten that into that much trouble. I think he was just worried about it, but I really don't believe he would have gotten in that much trouble because the dudes who work in like the construction, like different shit like that, like man, they wild as fuck themselves. Mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Yeah, I in how much you want to wait, how much you want, player? Let me out of yeah, facts. Look, that's the thing. I like I said, logically and lawfully, it was wrong for them to do that. But to end up having to go to jail, and I think that's more the problem is that he wouldn't have got out until later in the day, so he would have missed work. And then they'd have been like, "Why'd you miss work?" I was in jail. I got in a fight last night. Like it's not right for him to go to jail over something like that. You know, that's like, cause see, when I look at it that way, cause the way that they are here in Japan is if you get into a fight, whether you were in the right or the wrong, you're going to fucking jail. But my thing is, all right, so if somebody just grabbed my kid and ran off, like if I had a kid and somebody just kidnapped my kid and they like run off and now I chase them down and they try to stop me from taking my kid and I gotta knock them the fuck out, you telling me I gotta go to jail because of that? What are we doing? That's the problem with the justice system here. So yeah, but anyway, that whole situation with the Pokemon Center, what ended up happening because of that, because of this terrible, terrible fucking situation, all events, all Pokemon Center events were shut down. I mean, they shut down the cat in Ikebukuro. They shut down the cafe next door, the Pokemon cafe that's next door to the center where this happened. They shut down all events all across Japan from that point all the way through the entire month of April because of this as well. And it's like, you know, the events be damned or whatever. At the end of the day, there's a potentiality that this could have been stopped. There's a very high potentiality that if things like mental health issues were taken more seriously here, you could prevent a lot of these types of horrible, horrible actions from happening. And it's sad to see that. And I mean, I think about that, you know, 21 years old, doing a job you absolutely love, getting to interact with people and share your passion for something. It's not a lot, it's not something that a lot of people actually get to do. So it's very sad to see when something like this happens. And to make it so much worse, like I said, those children that were in the Pokemon Center on this day, they will be forever scarred by this incident. The foreigners, the travelers, things like that, who come here, who came here and were in that center that day, they will be scarred. Their children will be scarred. That is actually a stain on the country as a whole to go home to your country, wherever you're from, and be able to say, while I was in Japan, the one of the safest countries in the world, I witnessed a girl get murdered in a Pokemon Center, and then the guy kill himself. Like, this is the thing. These types of incidents needs to be taken more seriously. There's no way and no reason that anyone should look at this and say, "Oh, well, it's a one-off," because it's not just a one-off. I've explained to you guys tons of different crimes that have happened here, and like I say, every time crime is relatively low on a day-to-day basis here, but when we have fucking crime here, it's crime. We're talking motherfuckers driving a truck into the middle of one of the busiest intersections in all of Tokyo, then getting out and just stabbing people for the fuck of it. Like, what are we doing? Releasing gas bombs on the JR train lines. Not one, not two, but every fucking one of them in a synchronized time frame. Come on, bro. So yeah, mental health is a real fucking thing. People need to take it more seriously, and the Japanese need to find a way to deal with this in a much better way. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I need to take a quick break. I gotta hit the old, a whole genre right now. I gotta drop a leak off. I almost said the other one, drop a deuce. I had to take a leak. Give me a sec. I need to do something really quick before I get up. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? There it is. Hold on. I gotta put something on here. So yeah, but anyway, you guys feel free to let me know what you think about that whole story. I mean, any thoughts on it? Did it was it handled as best as it possibly could be? Do you think there's anything more that could have been done in that situation, or is it just one of those tragedies that nobody can really do anything about? But hey, I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Thanks a million for watching. If you're on YouTube, go ahead, like. Most definitely feel free to hop in the chat and subscribe. And if you're on Twitch, go ahead, give a follow, subscribe, and of course, hop in the chat. I'll be right back in a few minutes.